What I noticed is lahat tayo, meron tayong different personalities when it comes to managing our money, when it comes to our financial selves, when it comes to our attitude and values about money. Pagdating sa paggastos, merong two main categories that we belong in, which is yung emotional at saka yung rational spender. Two types of personalities that we have when it comes to spending and when it comes to money management. Managing money is more than just about numbers. Budgeting is often a balancing act between emotions and logic. May mga tao talaga na pag gumagastos, ang pinapakinggan yung puso, no? However, if you often do that, mayroon kang risk na mag-impulse purchase parate, maging magastos, and you will go broke. May mga tao rin na sobrang logical or rational. Lagi tinatanong nila na, kailangan ko ba to? Kailangan ko magtipid eh. I need to prepare for my future. Super planner sila. And ang disadvantage nun, sometimes you miss out on things and you fail to enjoy life. Yung pagtatrabaho mo, yung pag-manage mo ng pera, minsan nakakawalang gana, minsan it will feel like a burden kasi para saan ba tong ginagawa ko? Oo, para sa future pero hindi ako nag-e-enjoy ngayon. There's two sides of the coin that you need to be comfortable with, and which one do you actually give more priority? The first one is yung emotional money management. Have you ever felt stressed and said, deserve ko to, I deserve this, before buying that nice jacket or yung sapatos, or nag-book ka ng seat sale kasi gusto mo magbakasyon. You want a weekend getaway. That's emotional money management in action. It's making financial decisions as guided by your feelings, whether it's excitement, stress, or even boredom. Sometimes, buying things because they feel good in the moment is exactly what we need. However, if left unchecked, this can quickly lead to overspending. And that's the downside of letting your emotions take control of your finances. Walang masama dun sa bigla ang napapabili ka kasi na-excite ka or gusto mo talaga yung nakita mo. Pero, ang key dito is dapat hindi parate. When it comes to emotional spending, syempre merong benefits and merong risks. Among the benefits, number one, instant gratification. Masarap kasi talaga yung may nabibili ka. It's empowering and exciting because you have something new na nabili. Meron ding emotional rewards. Spending can be a mood lifter when you're down. Kaya nga merong retail therapy. It actually works. However, meron siyang risk. Number one is, mabaon ka sa utang, being in debt. Emotional buying can lead to big credit card bills and baka magastos mo yung mga pang-necessary expenses mo at kailangan mo mag-loan. So, mababaon ka sa utang. Number two, impulse regret. That moment of joy might fade when you see your bank balance. Masaya siya, masarap yung pakiramdam during the time na binili mo siya, pero number one, later on, feeling mo, bakit ko ba binili to? Magsisisi ka na binili mo siya. Pangalawa, pag dumating na yung credit card bill mo or bigla ka nagkaroon ng importante na gastos at nakita mo yung bank account mo na halos wala ng pera or ubos na, bigla ka magsisisi. Bakit ko nga ba to binili? Bakit ko nga ba to ginastos? Emotional spending may sound like a bad idea, but the other side of the coin, which is rational spending, will also have its disadvantages. Rational money management is all about logic, planning, and sticking to the numbers. It's creating a budget, tracking your spending, investing with research, and making decisions that align with your long-term goals. You'll feel more secure because you know exactly where your money is going. But if you get too caught up in the rational side, you might feel like you're constantly living in deprivation mode. Feeling mo, sobrang kawawa mo kasi hindi mo na-enjoy yung present moment dahil lagi ka nalang nagsisave, lagi ka nalang nagtitipid, nag-i-invest. Hindi mo na-enjoy yung pinaghihirapan mong pera. So, hindi rin sobrang ganda na very rational ka with your money management. Two of the benefits of rational spending is number one, financial security. You're setting yourself up for the long-term success. And number two is less stress. A solid financial plan reduces your financial anxiety. Hindi ka masyadong worried about the future. Nakakahinga ka pagdating sa pera. Hindi ka natatakot na may biglaang gastos. Kasi alam mo, meron kang mahuhugutan na emergency fund and nag-i-invest ka for your retirement. Pero meron din siyang risk. Number one is over-rigidity. You might feel like you're missing out on life's fun moments. Makikita mo yung mga friends mo sa social media na nagta-travel dito, bumibili ng mga bagong damit, sapatos, and may inggit ka at sabihin na natin na magkakaroon ka probably ng self-pity. Kawawa naman ako, bakit hindi ko ma-afford yon? Or bakit trabaho na lang ako ng trabaho, hindi ko na-enjoy ngayon yung mga pinaghihirapan ko. So there's a tendency for you to feel that. Especially kung meron kang money dysmorphia. Kaya mo naman talagang mag-splurge at the present moment, pero natatakot ka kasi you're always thinking of the worst case scenario for the future. Kaya mo namang gumastos ngayon, pero nagigilty ka. Another risk is decision paralysis. Too much planning can make you hesitant to act on opportunities. May mga nagtatanong sa akin, saan ba maganda mag-invest? Nagsasabi ako, dito ka na lang kasi ito convenient sa'yo, accessible sa'yo. Pero hindi sila content with my suggestion. They would even do more research, talagang sinusuyod nila lahat ng mga possible options sa investments, and in the end, months will pass na wala silang nagiging desisyon. They are too rational, they are planning too much na they are already missing out on good opportunities. So, sayang. So, the question now is, which one is better? Being emotional or being rational? You need to find a good balance between the two. There's no need to choose one over the other. Hindi mo kailangan mamili. You want to be rational enough to keep your finances stable, but emotional enough to enjoy your money and have fun in life. And paano mo gagawin yan? Meron akong 4 na tips para sa inyo. The first one is to budget for guilt-free emotional spending. We all have those moments when we want to treat ourselves, and that's okay. The key is to plan for it. Set aside a portion of your budget for guilt-free spending. This way, you can enjoy those splurges without throwing your entire financial plan off track. One of the more popular budgeting strategies, yung 50-30-20, di ba? 50% sa needs mo, 20% dun sa savings and investments, and then 30% dun sa wants. So if you follow that type of budgeting strategy, yung 50-20-30, meron kang 30% of your income na allocated sa guilt-free emotional spending. Please take note na yung 50-20-30, this is just a starting number. Kapag tinatrack natin yung expenses natin, mas magkakaroon tayo ng idea kung ano ba dapat yung allocation. I know people na ang budgeting allocation niya ay 80-15-5. 80% sa needs, 15% sa savings and investments, tas 5% sa wants. And that's okay. Find the allocation that feels right for you. But the more important tip there is meron pa rin siyang percentage na naka-allocate sa mga wants niya. Tip number 2 is to pause and reflect before making big financial decisions. Before you make a major financial decision, whether it's a big purchase or pulling out of an investment, take a moment to step back. Ask yourself, is this an emotional decision or a rational one? This can help you avoid impulsive mistakes. Particularly nung pandemic, bagsak yung stock market, there are some people who ask me na kailangan ko bang ibenta yung mga investments ko, yung mga stock investments ko, i-pull out ko ba? And I told them that stock investments are long-term investments. Usually, the market recovers after such events. You're afraid that you might lose more money, kaya gusto mong i-pull out. That's not good. When it comes to investment decisions, very important that we are all rational about it. It's important to ask yourself, bakit ko ba gustong gawin ito? Is it because I'm feeling emotional about it? Or is this a logical next step when it comes to my financial plan? Meron akong nakausap, gusto niyang bumili ng kotse. Tinignan ko yung finances niya, kaya naman, he can afford to buy a car. But I also ask, bakit gusto mong bumili ng kotse? Bakit ngayon? Sabi niya, inamin naman niya, yung kapatid daw niya kasi bumili ng kotse. Yung mas bata niyang kapatid, bumili ng bagong kotse. And since kuya siya, feeling niya parang dapat ako rin. Kasi yung kapatid kong mas bata nakabili ng kotse, dapat ako makakabili din ako. Never pa daw siyang nakabili ng kotse dahil yung gamit niya sa sasakyan ngayon ay minana pa niya dun sa tatay nila. So, pinasa sa kanya ng tatay niya. Siyempre, siya yung panganay. Sa kanya talaga pupunta yon, no? But yung mas bata niyang kapatid, na-approve ng car loan, nakabili ng kotse. So ngayon, and that's when I realized that yung decision niya to buy a new car is an emotional one. And sabi ko sa kanya, big purchase yan, sasakyan. Baka may iba ka pang financial goals na mas magandang i-priority kesa dun sa sasakyan. Kasi unang-una, hindi mo naman talaga siya kailangan. Pangalawa, the reason is emotional. Yes, you can afford it, but what about your other goals? Perhaps it's better to just prioritize that. Like, sabi niya sa akin, may plano siyang bumili ng condominium at gagawin niyang rental property. Hindi niya kayang pambumili. And I told him, why not just prioritize that? And once na mabili mo yung condo rental property na yon, yung magiging income mo from rent, yun yung ipambili mo ng bagong sasakyan. I think that's a better idea and a more rational one. So, when it comes to emotional and rational spending, it helps to reflect ano ba yung reason why you are buying this item or why do you want to spend. Pause and reflect before making a big financial decision. Next tip is to check in with yourself on a regular schedule. Your financial goals will evolve, and so will your emotions. Set aside time each month to review your budget and goals. Are you spending too much on emotional purchases? Are you being too rigid and missing out on experiences? You need to adjust accordingly. Maganda na ginagawa ito towards the end of the month. And this is something that I actually do. At the end of the month, when I look at my expenses, medyo may reflection na ano ba yung mga impulsive spending ko and bakit ako naging impulsive? Did it make me happy? Yung mga impulse purchases ko na medyo na nire-regret ko, I try to tell myself, how can I avoid this next time? For example, pumunta ako sa isang event, may nakita akong magandang shirt, impulsively, binili ko siya. And then, towards the end of the month, na-realize ko na hindi ko ito masyadong pinag-isipan, pero sobrang, natuwa ako doon sa binili kong t-shirt and I don't regret it. So, that's a reminder for me na next time na nasa isang event ako and I see something that I like, I would probably not hesitate anymore na bilhin siya. Kasi sometimes you ask ourselves, gusto ko ba to o hindi? Diba? So, that's one reflection that has helped me become more conscious of my spending. On the other hand, meron naman akong sinamahan na friend sa IKEA, sabihin na natin yung store, and may bibiling kasi siyang mga gamit sa bahay. Paikot-ikot doon and nainggit ako doon sa isa niyang bibilhin na bedsheet, no? Napakatanda nung ating example. So pag medyo nasa certain age ka na-excite ka na sa mga gamit sa bahay. So sabi ko, ang ganda naman yung bedsheet na yan, gusto ko rin. And impulsively, bumili din ako. Towards the end of the month, when I was reflecting on my purchases, I realized that was an impulse purchase na ngayon, parang nire-regret ko na bakit ko nga ba binili yun? Hindi ko naman siya kailangan. And parang nainggit lang ako dun sa friend ko, kaya ako binili. Nagandahan din kasi ako na, ay, parang gusto ko rin yan. So check in with yourself on a regular schedule. Take time to look at your credit card bills. Tingnan mo, ano ba itong mga gastos na to? Ano ba yung mga restaurants na kinainan ko na hindi naman pala masarap? Sometimes it helps to have a mental note na, okay, ito yung mga magagastos na kinainan ko na hindi naman siya worth it. Although, meron ka ng mental note dati, but repeating it to yourself will reinforce that so that next time, masasabi mo sa sarili mo na, okay, na-curious lang kasi ako dito sa restaurant na to, kaya ako kumain, hindi siya maganda. So next time, pag may nakita akong magandang restaurant, maganda yung itsura, I have to remind myself to check online yung reviews niya if it is really worth it. Na dapat hindi ako nagpapaloko dun sa itsura sa labas kasi it has already happened to me na akala ko masarap pero hindi. So may mga ganyang reflections, may mga ganyang mga muni-muni na makakatulong definitely para mas maging smart sa ating emotional spending. Kasi ang iniiwasan talaga natin ay yung magsisi tayo dun sa mga naging gastos natin. Lastly, tip number 4 is to have rational tools to manage our emotional impulses. Set up automatic transfers to savings accounts or use budgeting apps that track your spending. These tools can help curb emotional spending and keep you accountable. Kung possible sa inyo na may automatic transfer sa savings account from your payroll or salary account, that's very good. Kasi you don't have to think about saving anymore. Yung pagsisave kasi ng pera, that can be an emotional experience, believe it or not. Especially if nandun ka na sa point na medyo malaki yung tinatabi mo for your savings and investments. Minsan, matatanong mo na lang yung sarili mo na, bakit sobrang laki nitong tinatabi ko? Sayang to ah. Isang bagong sapatos na to. Di ba? I could afford to buy new sneakers every month dito sa amount na tinatabi ko. Minsan may mga ganun kang dilema, may mga ganong bulong yung isip mo sa sarili mo. But if you make it automatic, you use tools, mga emotionless tools like an automatic transfer, then hindi na sumasagi sa isip mo yung mga ganong klaseng temptation. Kung ano na lang yung makita mo sa salary account mo, yun na lang yung magagastos mo for the month. Kasi at the start, you've already paid yourself first for your savings and investments kasi automatic siya. Yun yung sinasabi natin na rational tools. Try to see how your emotional spending happens, look into the process, and find a way to automate some of those steps or put in some tools that will help you stick to the rational decision. In conclusion, the best financial strategy isn't about choosing emotions or logic. It's about blending the two. Ask yourself, are you more of an emotional spender or a rational planner? Wherever you fall, there's always room to improve and find that balance. Remember, money isn't just about numbers, it's about living the life you want, both now and in the future. So go ahead, budget smartly, plan and prepare for tomorrow, but don't be afraid to enjoy life's moments today.